today we're making poppy lanterns. You will need tissue paper in light blue, navy, dark green, light green and red, a glass jar, some scissors, a cup of water, PVA glue and an old paintbrush. There is a little bit of prep involved in making these poppy lanterns, but it just involves the tissue paper. So with the dark green tissue paper, you want to fold it over several times to create several layers, then cut long thin strips about 1/4 of an inch wide. These will be the stems for your poppies. Cut these at various lengths so that you have a variety for your poppies. Then with the red tissue paper, fold it over several times so that you've got layers of tissue paper on top of each other, and cut some circles which are about the size of a 2p coin. They don't have to be precise, so I just did these freehand. Some of them have some points on them, some of them are more of an oval than a circle, but that adds to the poppy appeal. So like the green stems, cut several out because the children are probably going to use between 10 and 15 on each of their lanterns, I would imagine. So moving on to our actual lesson, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to mix 1 part water to 2 parts PVA glue, and this is going to create a Mod Podge solution. Give it a really good mix. Now that's all prepared, you're ready to get your jar. If your jar has a lid like mine, then please remove it and anything else that's in it, so you're literally left with the glass jar itself. Take your Mod Podge solution and start spreading this onto your glass jar. Just do a little bit at a time, and also try not to have it too thick, otherwise it runs everywhere. Add some of your poppies as you go along, so add a circle, then go over it with your Mod Podge just to hold it in place. Put some more Mod Podge down next to it, add another circle, keep repeating. And place these poppies at different heights, place them close together, far apart, just make it really random like they would be in a poppy field. Once you've gone around your whole jar with the circles for the poppy heads, then you can move on to the next stage. So for the next step, you need to get your light blue tissue paper and just rip it up into small pieces. They need to be a variety of different shapes, and just literally tear it. Don't use scissors for this. They all look nice in the end, trust me. Once again, add your Mod Podge to your jar. We are working on the top section of the jar this time, because we are doing the sky with this light blue tissue paper. So you are going to add your light blue tissue paper around the poppies to about halfway on the jar. You can go a little bit less if you want, or a little bit more. So you could have 1/3 sky, or 2/3 sky, or half sky. I went for 2/3 sky. You're literally just going to add your tissue paper, go over it with Mod Podge again, like you did with the poppies. Keep repeating all the way around that top section of the jar, and don't go over the poppies. You're going to place your tissue paper so that it sits around the red circles. I tried to match the shape of the blue tissue paper to the edge of the poppy. That was the best way that I could keep the shape of the poppy as much as possible. You want to make sure that you fill in any parts in between the poppies as well that are in the top section that you're doing for the blue sky. You don't want any plain glass showing there. You want to go over the rim of the jar with this blue tissue paper. Just fold it over the rim and then you'll get a nice neat edge when you go over it with Mod Podge. Moving on to the hills of our image, we are going to rip up some green tissue paper, and this is going to cover the bottom half of our jars this time. Repeating the same process as what we did with the sky, we're going to add some Mod Podge to our exposed plain glass, and we are going to add some green tissue paper, just like you did with the blue sky, and it's going to cover all the clear glass that you have left. Make sure that you go around the poppies and not over the poppies, although it doesn't matter if the green overlaps just a little bit with the blue sky. I forgot to mention earlier, just do one layer of tissue paper all over of the blue, the red and the green. If you do want it to be darker in some places and make it harder for the light to penetrate through the tissue paper, you can do an extra layer of tissue paper in that area. When you've covered the bottom part of your jar so you have some nice grassy hills, then you can add the darker green tissue paper, the stems that were already cut out earlier. Add one per poppy. Rather than having one straight stem from each poppy head, try and curve the stem. It is fiddly, but it is worth it. It does create a really nice effect. And if you don't curve them, you can also cross the stems over between poppies that are near each other. Use the Mod Podge solution again to add the stems to your jar, and then any that are overhanging the bottom of the jar, use the scissors to trim off and then just flatten with the Mod Podge. We can start layering up our poppies now with some more of the red circles they obviously have more than one petal. So on some of the poppies, add either 1 or 2 of the red circles, add them to the side of the poppy, or sides if you're using more than one, and this can just create a variety of different shapes. You might want to fold over the circle to create a semicircle to create a petal on the outside of the poppy. Simply just use your paintbrush to mould your poppy into the shape that you want them to be. Then flatten your poppy down with the Mod Podge again so that you haven't got bits sticking out. Do this around your glass jar. However, my advice would be don't do this to every single poppy, because it's nice to have the glow of the candle show through the single layer circles that you did earlier. Time to add the final touches. So as you know, on a poppy they have a dark, almost black, navy kind of looking centre, and this is going to be made out of the navy blue tissue paper. Rip this up like you did with the blue and the green tissue paper, however this time rip it a lot smaller. There needs to be 1 navy piece of tissue paper per poppy. And you're going to place these inside the poppy so it sits in the centre, or you can do it slightly to one side depending on the angle of the poppy you're trying to create. Again, just use your paintbrush to manipulate it into the right area of the poppy and the right shape that you want it to be. Now all that's left to do is to leave it to dry for 3 to 4 hours. Oh, and to add a battery powered candle to give it that lovely glow. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, check out my channel and click subscribe for more art lessons on a Monday and my personal artwork on a Thursday. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week for more Art with Miss Burford.